Get my slippers on. Hi, you guys. How is everyone doing? Yeah, Mommy's doing that talky thing. It's okay. It's okay, bub. Don't push everything. Watch out. Yeah, well, stay away from the cameras, Bubby. Oh, I gotta get all... Hi, you guys. Okay. I've got my blanket and my hook. I'm ready to go. I turned up my lights above me here so that I don't have to turn on my aught light. I'm having issues with the aught light, and I wanted to tell you guys about that too. But first, how are you? Welcome to Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. What are you working on today? I hope you had a wonderful weekend. I can't see you very well. Give me a sec. I'm in West Texas. The wind always blows in West Texas, pretty much at some point in the day. Usually by after lunch, the wind's blowing. We will have quiet mornings, and then it'll calm back down in the evening. Well, it did not calm down last evening. Last night was Sunday, the 26th, and while I was doing my live, it was like, whoa, it was starting to get pretty interesting. And I turned on Ryan Hall, y'all, and watched what was going on, and that line of storms started south of us, and it went all the way up into Kansas and beyond. I know Oklahoma got hit really hard. There were some tornadoes. I don't know. I haven't heard anything today about if there was any damage. If you were in the path of that last night, I'm thinking about you, and I hope everybody's okay. We are fine. We had no damage that I know of. We had no tornadoes. It lasted all of about 20, maybe 30 minutes at the most, the storm part of it. We got a total of a half an inch of rain. We had a lot of straight line winds, and it was really gusty. I mean, our winds were, I don't know what they clocked them here. I believe they were around between 50 and 60 at the 50 and 70, coming through with the storm and in front of the storm. And then we had more gusts in the 40 to 60 range after the storm that went on for another hour or so after it was gone. I know in Quanah, they had 115 miles an hour straight line winds. Now that's with no twister in it. That's just straight line. That'll take a roof off. It'll certainly lift it. Watch it, bud. It's wild today. You're wild. Chill out, man. Chill out. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. But everybody here is okay. I am finishing the last row on the gray. And then my next color, and I don't remember what it's called. My next color is this one. And where did I put those? This is Stormy Morning. And it's by Donna of Crystal Skies Hand Dyed. So this is going to go in again for the second time. It's already been put in there once. Now we're going to do it again. I've done something different with my coffee. I had that square that I crocheted, and I had it down here. I need to make another one. I'm going to do this because this one is too big. So here's the square. And this because I had one extra when I finished that baby blanket. And I want to make another one to go on top of my mug, because that's what I've been doing with this. And you guys, it keeps it really warm. I am so surprised. Now I want to make one that's not quite as open as this is. And I'm going to do that when after I finish here. I just have been busy this morning. But for now, I've been putting it on top of my coffee, which is on the mug warmer. And it's staying absolutely the perfect temperature. Now, I don't have any decaf today. I'm still working on my caffeine. So, happy Texas morning to y'all. Happy Texas morning. I'm going to be sad when that caffeine is gone and I have to go to the decaf. I'm working on it, you guys. I'm working on it. I'm not going to buy any more caffeinated K-Pods. When I finish with the K-Pods that are in my holder over there, which I think there's only like 3 or 4 left in there, that'll finish out this week. And then I'm not buying any more caffeine K-Pods. Anything I get that's going to have caffeine in it, I'm going to use my reusable pod with the filters. And then I need to show you guys that one time. I'm not going to do it today, but I will tomorrow. Maybe I'll remember to show you. And I'm going to do like half and half next. So I have some caffeine coffee, of course, that we buy because Mr. Fiber drinks only caffeinated. And then I have some decaf, and they're grounds, and I have an extra canister. And I'm going to mix those together and start doing the half and half in the morning. And I'll do that for a while. And I think that should do me, because I've only been doing caffeine in the morning anyway. And that way I will be cutting back on my caffeine even more. So I'm working on it, you guys. I'm working on it. This one is a pecan praline with French vanilla creamer. That's what I'm drinking now. Also, I have the media mod on the GoPro, you guys, and I'm really hoping this works. Now we're going to experiment, and here's what I'm going to do. I've got my telephone over there that controls the GoPro, and I'm going to do like Mama Kayla, and I'm going to poke you over there and stop the video and let it sit for a sec, and then I'm going to restart it, and I want to see how this first clip does versus the second clip, and see if it changed the problem with the sound. Okay? Y'all know where I was headed with that. It just took me a while to get it out. All right, hold on. Okay, here we go. Now, I can't tell how it is until I take it out and I put it over in my editing software, because I'm doing minimal editing with this stuff, you guys, but I am pushing the clips together, and then I take the video and I run it through a program I have that makes the file smaller, and that way it takes a little bit less time when it's uploading. So if I remember, probably when I go back and run this through, I will put what I use to squish the file to make it smaller, I will put that down below for you guys. For those of you that have a channel and want to know what it is. It's called Handbrake, but I'll put the link below. I hope to remember. If I don't, y'all just need to ask me. If I ever forget to put something down below, you guys, please just ask me. Now, I had a question, and I wanted to talk about this. I think I have mentioned this before, but I have several new people, and you just never know who hasn't heard it. But someone wanted to know how I started using sloths on my channel. And this is why. It's all my daughter Carrie's fault. So my daughter Carrie is where she's the one that helped me come up with the name for the channel. And she came up with the animal for the channel. I've always liked sloths. However, my favorite animal is really the giraffe. That's my favorite. They're so elegant. Those long necks and those beautiful spots. And when they walk, they just look so graceful to me. I don't know. There's just something about a giraffe. So I absolutely love giraffes, okay? However, I really identify with a sloth. And at first, it was a joke. It started out as a joke because my daughter used to tell me, that I was slow as a sloth. And I am. Most of the time, I'm pretty slow. Pretty laid back and pretty slow. So, when we started thinking of names, a new name, I was telling her what I wanted to do with the channel. I was still using this building as a beauty shop. Well, I needed to come up with a different name. I had a handle that I was using on YouTube as a consumer watcher, and I wanted one for a actual podcast channel. And we were walking, and she said, well, what do you think it's about? And I was like, well, you know me, it's about the crafts and it's about the yarn. And I got all this yarn, and I really wanted to, start showing people the yarn and yada yada. And I said, because I collect yarn like I do with all the other stuff in the shop, which was true, because I was collecting polish, nail polish. I was collecting hair color, you name it, and I wanted one of everything. It's just a thing with me. So, and I said, we were talking about the fact that Mr. Fiber, okay, he called me the W word. Not the H word, but the W word, the WH, that I was a supply. And she says, well, we can't really use that on YouTube for your name. And I was like, I know. I said, because now I'm the fiber. She goes, what's another name for that? Would be Floozie. I was like, oh, I like that. I like Floozie. Fiber Floozie. So that's what happened. I became the Fiber Floozie. And we were talking about the fact that, you know, a lot of people have animals or some other kind of mascot on their channel that I had been seeing, where people, you know, choose you know, an elephant, or they choose a monkey, or they choose a llama, like Llama Mama Kayla. A lot of people choose some sort of an animal. And I'm like, okay, I kind of, you know, would like to do the giraffes. And she goes, but that doesn't really suit your personality. She said, the sloth suits your personality. And I'm like, yeah, it does. So that's how I got the sloth. And she came up with the thing with Flashy also, because there was, like Ola Joe, the Crocheting Sailor, when you come on her live, when you enter her live, she rings the bell and tells you welcome aboard, because she's Ola Joe, the Crocheting Sailor. So we were talking about that one day. We had gone to Corpus Christi on our trip together to Corpus Christi, and we were sitting at dinner, and she said, why don't you do the sloth? And I said, okay. She goes, just stamp them in, because from Zootopia, there's a sloth down at the DMV, and he takes forever, and he stamps the paperwork, right? And she said, when they come in, you could stamp them. It's like, oh, that's perfect. Well, Cheryl she is Vixen Purple Crochet. She gave me Slothy. Flashy. Not Slothy. Flashy, sorry. And I thought, oh, he'd be perfect. He'd be the perfect one to do the stamping in. So that's where I got that idea, and that's where Flashy came from. And then someone sent me, now the ones that I had hanging up above here, someone had sent me the first one, and I got Flashy after that. The first one that was sent to me was a subscriber, and let me try and think of her channel name. I'm not sure if she's still doing videos anymore. Man, I could not think of her channel name right now. But she gave me she gave me the second one. My first one was Simon, and he's the brown one. And then the gray one, who is Susie. And she gave me Susie. And Susie is one of those that you can warm them up to use them like a comfort, you know, a comfort animal. So I have Simon, I have Susie, and then my, excuse me, my daughter Chelsea. And then I got Flashy from Cheryl. And then my daughter Chelsea made me a felted sloth, and that one is called Siegfried. And Siegfried sits with Susie, because it's Susie and Simon's baby. So I've got them pretty well. I think that's everybody. I want to say that's everybody. Now I have a sloth over there by my desk that I got from Sharon. Sharon Creates. She handmade one, and it's crocheted, and it's hanging over there by my desk. And then on my wall, I have 3 of them that I had from, they're the Thai baby ones, the sloths. They come from, like, Hobby Lobby has them. They're called Dangler, something like that. And Chelsea and the boys gave me one that is like, I forget what you call it, but you can take their sequins and you can push them, and they look one color, and then you can push them back. It's a tactile thing. So I have one of those, and they're all hanging on the wall. And then I have various that several people have given me, and they are for projects, for my purse, and they've got the locking deal on them to hang them on stuff. So I've got those. I've got those all over the place. There's a lot of sloths in here, and I love them. And I like the ones, what I always say is I like the ones that have the friendly faces. Let me see. I don't have one right here to show you. But to me, there's some of them that look like they're kind of like sad and kind of like pensive looking, you know. But I like the ones that have the little faces with the little smiles, and they just have a more friendly looking eye on them. Those are the ones I like. I do watch some of the sloth reels. They're fun to watch the videos on them. And I do watch those like on Instagram. And somebody will send me some every now and then. Someone will send me a clip through Messenger or something like that. And it's fun to see those. So yeah, I hope that answers the question. I forget now who asked me that. Someone did ask me about the sloths. And so there you go. There's the sloth story. All right, let me show you what this color is looking like. Can you see? So you turn, when you get to the end here, you just turn it 90 degrees and you start going across that way. So I'm basically starting again, because when I do the gray is the first color, because I started with the gray in the center and then did the pink. I actually did the color I'm doing now and then did the pink. I kind of did that backwards, but I don't care. So then the next color is going to be this one here after I do the stormy morning. Donna had a big old sale again. I think her sale is done now on her Etsy. But she'd had another big old sale, and I went in there and I got some more sale yarn, and that should be on its way. I have my club coming from her. So I'll be doing the club, and I'll be showing you that, and I'll be showing you the sale yarn that I got. So bad, I have to stop. I really need to stop. I'm done for a little while. I really am. I did the Hobby Lobby, I did the Joann's, and I was able to get some of the diamond paintings on sale, so I'll be doing those on my other channel, Shiny She Shed, link below. And I've got enough right now to kind of cool it for a little while until I do a reset in here, because I'm going to, not a total reset, but I'm going to do some rearranging of especially this wall. Ah, God, that's good. Now I gotta turn my warmer off. There we go. Who knew that coaster would actually hold that much warmth in the cup? Did y'all know that? Okay, another story. Story time. Story time. Let's see. I did want to tell a little story. I don't know if I have told you this yet or not. That my mom and my dad and I used to ride motorcycles. Have I told you guys about that? I know I have talked about it here on my channel. I just don't know if I have talked about it with our chats. So, let's see. Tomorrow is the last February chat, by the way. And then I'm going to take a little break. And I've got some new stuff coming out, and I will tell you about that tomorrow. Yeah. But I may take a little break for a couple of days, okay? So y'all don't freak out. There'll be some more stuff coming. Okay, so motorcycles. Mom and Dad and I actually did not have my driver's license until I was a senior. So remember, I've been talking to you about having been in Germany and that I didn't get my driver's license because only the officers' kids really had the money to pay for the private driver's ed. And my dad was not an officer. He was an enlisted. He retired as a master sergeant. So when we got to the U.S., my dad extended, so we were in Germany for 3.5 years, and my dad extended because, remember I told y'all we went over there halfway through 8th grade. So that meant that and usually it's only a 3-year deal. Well, he extended a half a year so that I could finish my junior year. And I was really kind of upset about that because I really would have liked to have been able to say that I graduated in Germany. So I didn't get to say that. And that's okay. But it would have been fun to say it. So actually, I came to the U.S., back to the U.S. as a senior. And I didn't have a driver's license. And we lived in the trailer park. So, Mom and Dad had bought a double, well, I don't know if it was a double wide or a 14 wide or a whatever. It was a big mobile home. And there was a very nice mobile home park that was out on the outskirts of Wichita Falls. And they did that because they didn't really have the money when we got back to buy a house. The mobile home was not nearly as expensive or as big of a commitment as a house was. So they got a mobile home, and they put the mobile home in a position to where that would put me at the Wichita Falls High School. And at that time, it was more desirable to go to the Wichita Falls High School than it was to go to, there was a couple other schools that they thought were not as good. So that was based on their research. And that high school was called Old High. Okay? So Old High was probably the oldest high school in town. And where it was in a part of town where most of the people in town who had money went. And most of my life has been a little bit of an irony anyway. So here I was, a military brat, going to this high school where all of the people with money, their kids went, living in the trailer park. And then I was the only senior in driver's ed. And I wound up being the only girl riding a motorcycle because I got a motorcycle first before a car. I wouldn't be me if it wasn't like this. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All of life's ironies with me, let me tell you. So, and I really can't remember if I told you guys this story or not. But I'm going to tell it again because I can't remember. I rode a motorcycle to school. My first motorcycle, my very first motorcycle, was a Honda 360. Now this is not very big. It's bigger than a scooter. It's bigger than, say, like the off-road, those. It's bigger than that. But it's a street bike. And that was my first one. It's what I learned on. I know I told you this, that my dad made me walk with it. I had to learn how to do the spark plugs, and I had to do all that stuff. I just don't remember if I told you this story at school. Maybe I did. I'm going to tell it again. And so the 360, here's the horrible thing about that. I rode that one for quite a while. And then I wound up getting a 650. And the 650 was probably twice as big. And it had places I had, like, where I could put baggage on it. It had one on the back, and then I had side saddles. So now I didn't get to side saddles till later, but while I was in high school, I had just the one on the back, and I would put my books and all that stuff in it. And then I actually had a bicycle chain. And I rode my motorcycle to school in the morning, and I chained my motorcycle on the side of the school where the bikes go, like bicycles. And there was one other motorcycle that was always parked there. And it was a little smaller than mine. It was a different brand. It was like a Suzuki or something, but it was smaller. And I had been riding my motorcycle to school all this time, and I had been parking next to this other bike for all of this time, and it was right towards the end of school, and I was getting on my bike. I was putting all my stuff in it and everything, and I actually happened to leave at the same time as the guy who had the other motorcycle. And he comes out to get on his motorcycle, and he's undoing his chain, and he's giving me the eye, He's looking at me, and he goes, I didn't know you were a girl. And I went, huh? He said, I've been seeing this motorcycle all this year, but he says, I didn't know you were a girl. And my mic was bigger than his, so he was a little miffed about the whole thing. It was so funny. So funny. And the 360 that I had, here's what was so sad, you guys. Dad was able to sell my 360 to a guy who had been in the military, and he was riding it out by the base, and he actually got in a wreck on that 360 and was killed. And the 360 was demolished. So that was kind of sad. I hated that. I hated that happened with my bike. But the 650, you guys, Mom and Dad and I, we went all over the place. Our first trip, I think, was Walt Disney World. No, it wasn't. No, the first trip was to one of the lakes. Can't remember which lake. So it was in here, like here in Texas. We went to one of the lakes, and I can't remember which one it was. And we used to do the gymkhana, not gymkhanas, like the motorcycle runs, we called them. So we would ride somewhere, and we'd do the run, and then we rode all the way to, we rode through Louisiana, through New Orleans. My first time going to New Orleans. This was long before Chelsea was born. My oldest daughter, who lives in New Orleans. And we drove through Mississippi. We drove through gosh, I'm trying to think all the states that Mom and Dad and I drove, because we were going to Florida. So we went across. I know we went went to Lake Charles before we went to New Orleans. But we actually didn't go to New Orleans on the bikes. We went to my sister's house, which was in Mississippi. She was stationed at Biloxi, and we went to her house first, and then we drove over to New Orleans. And then we went to Walt Disney World. That was a long trip. It was a lot of fun, though. We went on several trips, Mom and Dad and I. We did one where we went over Hoover Dam, and we went to Yosemite. Went through Yosemite on the bikes. Beautiful. Oh my gosh, going through Yosemite. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful. Mom and Dad and I, we were the three musketeers, man. And most of that time, my mom rode behind my dad. My dad had a gold wing. And most of the time, Mom rode behind him. And then later on, she got her own bike. And hers was a Yamaha, which we called the Yammer Hammer. And she had it at one of the runs that her and Dad went to. She had a guy at the motorcycle run. It was at a KOA, and he was painting gas tanks. And he painted her gas tank, and she had him put Mom's Harley on it. Because she wanted a Harley Davidson, but she didn't get one. So she had him put Mom's Harley on there. On her Yammer Hammer. Oh, man. We had some good times now, let me tell you. We really did. We had a lot of fun. Okay, you guys. I think that's it for today. I will see you again tomorrow. If y'all want to know some more motorcycle stories, leave me some comments down below. And I hope I didn't bore you with this one. Everything's looking good. I'm going to keep going on this. It's getting big, isn't it? Let's see, let me tell you how many blocks I have, because each one of these is a block. Let me count them real quick. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I think I'm on 16 now. I'm on block 16. So I don't know how many blocks I will do, but I still have a lot of yarn, Donna's yarn, left. what may happen, because I think I only have this much left of this gray, and I think I have one more, maybe two more of these. This may be what determines whether I keep going or not, is when I get down to where I'll have, because I'm kind of thinking about doing one row of this all the way around the outside, just like a single crochet row. So that may be the determining factor of what I do yarn wise on this. How much, when I stop, in other words. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day. Have fun today. And I'll see you.